regarding the protected bike lanes, the cycling, and the walking. So although I am not a biker, I just bike in fitness gym. But I am in favor of doing projects for the bike lane, because when I campaign around Ward 32, by merely walking Queen Street, in Gerrard Street, and Danforth, there's a greater risk for people who are walking, and especially those bikers, because the city is full of traffic and there are streetcars, buses. So I'm really in favor also of bike lanes.
Thank you. I'm actually very proud of our contra-flow bike lane on Dixon that I got passed during a regime of a car-loving mayor. So I'm very proud of that, Eric. Thank you very much. I also supported many other biking initiatives on council. I'm a big cyclist. I cycle to work when I'm not here at Woodburn and Gerrard. My whole office cycles to work, and I'm proud to do that. And as well, we need to look at not just the bike lanes, but fully separated bike lanes. Not just paint, but fully separated lanes. We need to connect them all and get back to our bike plan. It can't just be willy-nilly. And we need to make sure that our state of roads are in good repair, not just for cars, but also for cyclists. And we also need a little bit of education on sharing the road for both cyclists and drivers.
You get a break, you think about it a little bit more. We have the mic right here.
We're currently in this fiction that each of us has a 10% chance of winning council. We know that's not how it works. Mary Margaret has a 90% chance, and the rest of us about 1% chance each. So, realistically, Mary Margaret, you are going to be in a position for the next 4 years that most of us can only dream of. What are you going to do as a councillor of substance? What is going to be your legacy? I don't think term limits is enough. I think that you will be in a very privileged position. Hopefully it won't be a difficult time. I want to know what your plans are. Why people are going to vote for you other than that you're a nice person.
All right, so that is pretty much Mary Margaret. I'm going to let Sandra answer this question, and then we will have the last question about legacy. Although James wants to throw a wild card. We did, I wasn't going to bring this up, but we did a poll, 578 people. 116 people, 20% undecided. 150 people, 26% Mary Margaret. 139 people, 24% Sandra Busson. 127 people, 22% Jane Sears. And 8% everyone else. Now, I have no right to say that we have 1% chance. I'm not Ron Paul here. Okay? I'm not going to be nice about it. 1% chance of winning? How can you say something like that? It's not right. That's not right. We've done internal polls. Anyway, I'm just very angry and I don't want to swear, so I'm going to... Sandra, last word on the bike lane, please.
Going last. Well, the bike lanes are important. It's part of our strategies in the city to, if people want to use transit, it should be available. It should be a great network. And the same is true with our bike lanes. And there is actually a plan. Occasionally, a councillor will put in a special motion to get a little tiny piece on Eastern, and that should come out. What it's doing is actually slowing down the express bus in the morning and causing a lot of congestion, and the number of accidents is quite high in that particular region. But when I was a councillor, we put in the bike lanes on Dundas. They weren't part of the plan, but they have worked out to be a marvelous extra route to make your way through the neighborhood. But of course, it has to be extended, so it's a real network that people can actually use and get back and forth to work. So the bike lanes are part of what we should all embrace for the sake of the community, our environment, and choices.
All right, so we have time for one last question before each candidate will give their closing remarks. I'm going to launch off what you went on legacy, but it isn't just about one councillor, it's about all of you. So if you were to be elected, what would you hope your legacy would be after you concluded your career as the councillor for Ward 32? Michael, I'm going to start with you. Go right ahead.
I think bike lanes. And I want a plan to put them in. That's not what Mayor Margaret or Senator Bussin said. We need a plan. If you haven't put in bike lanes, especially Senator Bussin, you were there before the bad times of Ford, so your legacy's no bike lanes. Thank you.
I want my legacy to be water fountains. When I was a kid, there were functional water fountains in every park. But the bottled water industry has conspired with sleazy city councillors to cap all those water fountains so they got Marx, is this right? This is how you educate people. De-brainwash them. What they've done is they've capped the water fountains. Poor families have to buy bottled water to keep their kids from getting dehydrated. I want those water fountains running again. I want the fluoride out of the water. Fluoride is a neurotoxin that lowers IQ by 7 points, recent Harvard study. And I want to use the $1.9 million a year that we'll save by not fluoridating to remove the lead from the pipes. So if we save $1.9 million a year, over 10 years, it's $19 million. All of the lead is out of the pipes. Didn't cost us one dime. My legacy is going to be water. Thank you.
Well, my focus the last 4 years has been on planning. And so my legacy would be to completely overhaul the way planning is done in this city. The OMB-proof Toronto. I mean, just pressing the button 3 times to vote to remove Toronto from the OMB and having a petition with 51 names on your website isn't taking Toronto out of the OMB. I worked with Michael Crew to introduce a private member's bill that died with the election, unfortunately, which would have given Toronto more opportunity to stop development. But the issue isn't just there. OMB proves you need a new official plan, local appeal body, but you also have to change the way the planning department works. So that when something comes to council, one single planner doesn't outweigh 2.7 million people. And councillors say, our hands are tied because a staff person wrote a report saying this building is good. So my legacy will be that planning will actually change, and that if you don't want something in your community, it won't get built because you won't have the power to stop it, because council will be able to say no without blaming the OMB.
I'd like a legacy of restoring trust in council, public service, to stop inaction, build transit, to connect you with your family so you're not thinking about all the issues going on. You can stop dealing with it. These can just be dealt with. That we have the time for each other. And none of the, and happening in your term, you know that these things are going to happen. You know that the council's talking about the important issues and topics, and that they're dealing with them, that these things are happening, and that they're being brought up to you, and you're seeing, when you're reading about stuff in the newspaper, about what council is discussing, it's actually happening in the 4 years, getting started in a 4-year term with somebody. So it's not just these great visions, stay here forever, keep re-electing me, and eventually we'll find some transit for you. We'll find some, the libraries, we'll get everything fixed for you. It's going to happen now. Thank you.
My legacy will be a network of after-school programs that work as childcare for working parents who can't afford daycare. We have community centers where, if you're lucky, you can get it for 9 weeks, 1 day a week. If you have school-age kids, that doesn't help. Daycare is expensive and very hard to find. Our community centers don't have to be in community centers, they can be everywhere. You have community centers combined with libraries, but they can be reliable 3:30 to 6 p.m. places for kids to go every day to play a sport, to do their homework under supervision, to read a book, or to do arts and crafts. That way parents have peace of mind and they don't have to pay or look for daycare.
Bring back Transit City. $100 million have been wasted with these votes for a 3-stop Scarborough subway that isn't going to work, isn't going to function, and is going to take a long time to build. And tell people the truth. Don't say you're voting for a Scarborough subway, send out an email blast, and then change at the last minute on the funding. We knew way back in 2010 that putting in a subway was beyond our means. Now everyone in here is being affected by a huge tax increase. We've all got to raise a $1 billion plus to put 3 stops of the subway in. That needs to be reversed. It's the Transit City is the preferred plan by Metrolinx and the province, and let's stop playing around with big bucks and get back to work.
So my legacy would be to get this city moving. We need a proper comprehensive transit plan. We need dedicated funding allocated to it. We need to remove it from politicians' hands to stop bickering and the meddling and get the shovels in the ground. And incidentally, I did go to the Scarborough LRT this lesson, so you might want to get your unfactual flyers straightened out. We need to get the city moving, and we can get it done. I asked to have the Danforth GO station put into the fare integration program so that we can utilize our existing lines and pay the same rate, TTC rate, at Danforth GO. There's your interim relief line, and we need to get our other downtown relief line going and shovels in the ground. Thank you.
My legacy is my motto, HOPE, which stands for honest, orderly, and peaceful elections. Why? Because since I'm new in this election, I consider myself a newbie, and not most people know me, but since I am involved in social media, I want to follow what the Municipal Elections Act has been telling me, for us to adhere for a fair and orderly elections, for us to be active and participate in this election, for all of us to register if we are not registered as legal voters, register and go out and vote. So,
I'm the only candidate answering these questions tonight with smart value for money solutions. I offer creative ways of solving our infrastructure problems. We can bring the city closer together by managing congestion, and I also intend on listening to what constituents want and representing their interests. Thank you.
I'm afraid we have to deal with this whole transit issue because a 3-stop subway doesn't make a lot of sense in Scarborough. We aren't going to pay for it. And I did want to clarify my comment on the BAs. What I mean about BAs is let's put in professional managers and look at the downtown young BIA. That's an example of a well-run BIA with a professional manager. The other legacy I want to see is more daycare, dealing with our parking issues in the beach and some of our congestion issues, and maintaining our waterfront parks, which is one of the reasons we let down here in a good state of repair, and improving them. And I've been doing that because I didn't get any support earlier this summer from Councilor McMahon's office. And that's important to me as president. Finally, I would say, you know, one of the nice things in this community is people give a damn, and that's why there's so many people out here tonight. And that's a mark of this community, because generally in the city, only 1 to 3 people vote in the municipal election. But I'll say, whatever you do, get out, get involved, vote in the municipal election. And let's elect somebody who really has the interest of this community and the skill to improve it.
All right, thank you very much to all of you, and to everybody. The wild card has come out. I'll be quiet. Sandra, you're up.
I really believe that this transit issue is a really big one for the city. And Councillor McMahon, I have the votes here, voted twice for the subway. She's even put it out there on social media. Each time these matters come to council, it's clearly articulated what the costs are. And the third vote, Ms. McMahon switched her vote, saying she couldn't, I'm the floor madam, that you didn't support how it was going to be funded. You knew how it was going to be funded, and that's dishonest. That you would everyone in this community that at first you were in favor of the subway and no at the end LRT. Nonsense.
No, we're going to go in reverse order. The opening started at that end. The closing is going to start at this end with Sandra Busson.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very important election. I'm committed to working with the community to make this a better place to live. Let's get Transit City moving again. We are best served by the Transit City plan. Stop wasting over $100 million in work already done for the Scarborough Light Rail line. Say no to the 3-stop subway in Scarborough. Say yes to the downtown Relief Line subway. We can make it happen. Let's make sure we keep the unique character of our ward. Remember our hard-won battle against the Neville Park condo development, which would have changed our cherished waterfront beyond recognition. Now look what's happening to Queen Street. I firmly believe that our next battles will not only involve our main streets, but our waterfront once again. These are serious issues. Vote for Sandra Busson for leadership once again.
Proud of what we've accomplished in 4 years. Actually, my 4-year term started October 28, 2010, because the councillor at the time left her job after the election. And I started working there. Responsibility, environmental sustainability, and term limits. I delivered delivered on everything I set out to do. I'm a woman of my word. I'm a team player. I do not get pulled into partisan politics or the divisive nature at City Hall. I treat people with respect and collaborate with everyone. I would be honored to be represent Ward 32 again for another 4 years. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to Beach Metro. And thank you for listening.
My dearest residents, Canadian citizens, those over 18 years old and above and with legal status. So it is my desire to be elected as the City Councilor for Ward 32 because of my educational background, considering my years residency here. I lived here for 9 years, considering my employment for 22 years, and also my proposal for different projects such as real estate. Since the main issue of Ward 32 is the election process involving voting locations from different religious organizations such as Catholics, Baptists, Adventists, Methodists, Presbyterians, and Mennonites. That's why we choose this venue. It is not wrong to vote for a candidate who belong to a religious group like Catholics or otherwise, because we are obliged to exercise our right to vote, not based on our beliefs, but based on the candidate's achievement. So, on the last voting, October 14 to 18, and on October 27, please vote for Maria Garcia. Thank you.
Councillor McMahon says she's fiscally responsible, but I've not seen her exercise any restraint. I think she has her priorities backwards. Regarding bike lanes, I wonder which bike lanes Ford was able to stop, or which bike lanes she intends on building. She calls herself an environmentalist, yet she does nothing to address congestion, something that could save liters of fuel tomorrow. She calls herself a team player and respectful, yet she turns her back literally in council. She talks about leveling the playing field against the incumbents, and she names community events after herself. There is much work to be done in these next 4 years. Council's indecisiveness, bickering and backbiting have left us in an infrastructure crisis. I offer smart value for money solutions. Please visit ericdeboer.ca. Thank you.
What I'd like to say in closing is, at times of crisis, I've been here for this community. Remember when the strike was on, when David Miller was mayor? I got keys for all the city trash bins on Queen Street and serviced all of those trash bins along with help from the local merchants. When nobody wanted to provide a washroom for 50,000 people coming to Woodbine Beach Park and Asbridges Bay on Canada Day that summer, I rolled a 55-foot tractor trailer to the beach and subsidized it $4,000. I think that says something about me. Speak to people I've helped in this community. Like Ed at Ed's Girl Scoop, I got him a loading zone. At the gas station at Courcelette, Kingston Road, Tom and Paul, and they had city issues. Our Harold at Canadian Tire, I'm helping with $135,000 in claims because of the construction on the Danforth. People who know me will tell you I've never turned down anyone in this community, even people outside of the community. And I ask you to go to see my website, allenburke.ca. If you want to volunteer my campaign office is across from Canadian Tire at 2696 Danforth, which I'm sharing with Janet Sherpanowski, who's running in Ward 31. And I invite you to talk to me tonight because I haven't been able to give you all my views in the short time as we've been in, and I'll be here after the meeting for a while. Thank you.
Well, and thank everyone for coming out. I didn't get to talk about all the things I wanted to talk about. But most important is Sandra Busson had her time. She was here for 20 years. So whatever she did, she came back. She wants to fight with the current councillor. I don't agree with that. That's why I'm running. Current councillor disappointed a lot of people. She hyped herself out, 2010. She's going to do a lot of things. Haven't seen a lot of things done. I want to thank my campaign manager for getting me here. And my campaign Yahoo, it's my name, yahoo.com. I've got a lot of ideas, thank you.
I disagree with you. I enjoyed the cat fight. That was fun. I want to donate my minute to talk about Tony Chipman, war veteran. Don't get up, Tony, please. You're going to get arrested. I've been approached by dozens of seniors since I sent out campaign materials about dignity for seniors. That the seniors said they were suicidal because of their living conditions in Toronto housing. Tony said he lost the will to live and invited him to the Apple Grove debate. And he asked some questions, and Mary Margaret confronted her, said that he contacted her twice, and she never responded. At the end of the debate, everybody on the stage shook Tony's hand except Mary, and she left. Sandra Busson remembered Tony from 19 years ago because she got him an air conditioner. She walked in and she said, "Air conditioner." Say what you like about her. I don't want her to win. But everyone makes mistakes in their life, and you got to decide between 4 years in the penalty box or a lifetime suspension. It's up to you guys. But say what you like. She remembered Tony, and this one, Mary Margaret ran out. Thank you.
Well, I've spent hundreds of hours of volunteer work doing planning. People said I know one of the planners. And I've been sent to the corner of the side of the planners that they're coming after me for $63,000 in cost. The Beach Metro has written about this, I don't know why, but I'm telling you tonight. And you know, the reason I ran in July was because I thought, next 4 years, I might as well stop doing things about planning. Because Mary Margaret talks about being a bridge builder. Let me tell you, I got 28 emails from her personally in 2011, 4 in 2012, 1 in 2013, 0 this year. She calls herself a bridge builder. I bet the next 4 years I'm going to get 0 emails every year. And she's not going to ask for my help or assistance, which I would willingly have given because I work with GDNA and other people. So I'm running because I know that I might as well give up if Mary Margaret is re-elected. I think I can do a better job than she can. She's wrong about the OMB when she says that if you go to the OMB, you're going to get a bigger building. She was wrong on licks. She's wrong on other things. Thank you.
I just want to start thanking everybody for coming out tonight, taking your time. We have such a great community here, and we have such an excellent opportunity right now to change this community for the better. We have all this development going on that we can have the developers pay for. We can add to our community. We can make it a more sustainable, sustainable, mixed-use, accessible community. We can add all the accessible features that we're looking for, all these things that we want to pay for, all the new lanes, the bike lanes, the lanes for traffic. We can do this by having them provide the green P parking. I will be customer-focused and only lead on what we all agree on. I'll stop the behavior at City Hall, and I will be a leader that you can respect and find confidence in. Thank you very much for coming out again.
I think this is an important election because we as a citizenry are much more engaged in politics now. We understand the importance of our city. Having seen it misfunction, malfunction, we have a strong desire to turn it around. You deserve a councillor whose views you know, who communicates, which involves both speaking to you and listening to you. How is your councillor going to spend the next 4 years? Will she spend it trying to be visible and popular, naming things after herself as both previous councillors have done? Or will she put herself out there and tackle the real issues of our city? Transit, poverty. Will she take a public stand and be frank about her reasons? Let's build the city that we want. It costs a double a day.